Still waiting on a mid-Rosario's use. Oh, we got it. Good news? Bad news?
All right, I'm reading this live for the first time from Matt Young from the Chronicle. Alex Bregman says he had an MRI that revealed no damage to his elbow. He thinks he slept on it wrong. He expects to miss just a few days and be back in the lineup.
That's it.
That's the news?
That's it.
That's it?
You know what? I would be breathing easy.
So that means he's having Tommy John surgery in a few days.
I would be breathing easy if we did not just go through and are still going through the Kyle Tucker situation when he was supposed to be back in a couple of days on the road trip in Anaheim.
This is like the biggest buildup for this?
Yeah, this is a popcorn fart for as far as news goes. I mean, it's good if you believe it, but like we talked about in the first segment, no one believes it. Does anyone believe this?
I mean, it's good news based on what we were expecting to hear, but no, we don't believe it, and we will believe this to be true when Alex Bregman returns to the lineup.
Exactly.
Of the news we were kind of preparing ourselves to hear, this is positive.
This is the sad state of affairs of where we are. Yes.
Really?
It could be a pillow, and then it could be worse than that because the pillow turns into Tommy John.
All this for sleeping on it wrong.
They need a sleep doctor. They really do. The Rockets had one. You need a sleep doctor because what was it that Javier started with? Slept on a bad pillow, right?
Did Javier ever say that?
They said it was a pillow.
I thought it came out.
I never heard it was a pillow. I think we were just making fun of that.
No,
I thought it was slept wrong. I don't think a pillow was ever involved.
Either way, it's sleep, though. I mean, same thing with Bregman.
But I don't think they were blaming it on a pillow.
Well, that part I don't know.
I think we took liberty with that.
No, I thought someone tweeted it out.
I think it was us.
Look.
I think that we took liberty of that. I mean, you are sleeping with a pillow, but I mean, is it the pillow or is it the way that you fell asleep? Is it the way that you're laying down? But so Bregman not in the lineup today. The club issues a press. Maybe this is their way of being transparent now. Of like, hey, this is not. You're not going to see him in the lineup today. We're going to have him talk to the media, and then he's going to explain what happened. And because of the Astros' history and the precedents that they have set, it's like, okay, we're expecting Tommy John. But to Brian's point, because of the precedents that they've set, Verlander is only going to miss a start or two. Framber Valdez only a start turns into two. Christian Javier sleeps on his neck funny and then needs Tommy John right whenever he returns, and then he was throwing like 88 miles per hour. The precedents that the Astros have also set is that even whenever they kind of give information on an injury, that a lot of times it can be greater than then.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing about this. You can't take this. It's the most positive news you could possibly ask for with as much panic was going on in this city when we heard the news. But you can't even take it seriously enough to kind of breathe easily because of the past precedents that they have set.
Well, even just in what they actually reported, like because in what they're reporting, I mean, this is straight from the horse's mouth, Alex Bregman himself. He says he had an MRI to see if there was structural damage from sleep. Like I could look. We've all woken up with back pain or some other pain from sleeping wrong. But to get to the point of an MRI for structural damage when you think all that happened is you slept on it wrong, it doesn't pass the smell test to me.
I mean, that's due diligence.
Is it?
I think so. Yeah.
The word structural damage.
I'm a big believer in doing imaging anytime that anything comes up. I'm a huge believer because I'm a believer in information. I'm a believer in data. Yeah, if anything comes up where it's sore and you're a Major League Baseball organization, I'm a huge believer in just finding out and getting imaging done. A lot of times it might uncover an injury that might have already been there.
Okay, that's a good
point. So I'm a huge fan of just go ahead, get the imaging done.
My initial reaction when you and Brian were talking was, well, wait a minute. Why if you just slept wrong, would you be getting the MRI this soon unless it was something more major? If it just happened, like if you just woke up and headed to the ballpark and it was bad. But then McTaggart clears it up and said he slept wrong a few days ago and doesn't want to play through it anymore. He expects to miss the weekend. Said it's not a long-term injury.
Okay, that makes more sense. That makes more sense. That makes more sense.
Again, to Brian's point, we'll wait and see. But yes, of the information we could currently see today, this is good news. And it's probably, if this was the Mariners coming into town, would he miss all 3 games if it were the Mariners versus the White Sox? Like, I wonder how much that comes into play. Rome says that Alex Bregman said he MRI that showed no structural damage in his elbow. He doesn't think he'll play this weekend, but there are no long-term ramifications. Ocho says, good point by BMAC. We're not going to believe anything the Astros report given their recent history. Also, why is there an immediate presser for Bregman when we haven't heard much about Tucker for months? Weird. Here's my theory on this, and here's my theory as to why this is, good news. I think Bregman's very aware of the reputation of the club. He's very aware of the reputation of the PR and how people digest the information that is given by the Astros. So I think Alex Bregman here wanted to speak for Alex Bregman and take it out of the hands of the PR so you hear it from his voice. I think this is Alex Bregman like, hey, guys, this isn't the Astros telling you this, and I know that their history is a little bit shaky. It's a little bit dicey. This is me, Alex Bregman, telling you this information about my body, and I want to be very clear and transparent with you. There's that motive for Bregman. There's also the motive of Bregman that he's a free agent in a month and a half. So I think that Bregman wanted to take this out of the hands of the Astros PR, let everybody know, hey, this is me telling you I'm good, but then also letting all of the teams in baseball know that this is not long-term. This is just a hiccup. I'm going to be back next week. I'm good old Alex Bregman that's red hot, and somebody pay me $300 million in the offseason.
That's the biggest thing. You got to protect your own deal when you're looking to get a new deal. I think you're right on both fronts, but I think that's the biggest one too, is the fact that let me set the record straight right here and now so people don't think I'm damaged goods if I hit the open market.
Yeah, I am going to be optimistic about this. Someone saying, well, why hasn't Tucker talked? That's the player. Like, the player gets to decide this. If the player comes to PR and says, hey, I want to talk, they're going to let the guy talk. And plus, there's open clubhouse. Like, you don't have to talk to the media when they're in there, but you can. You can if you want to. And Alex Bregman here, I think, wants to be transparent. He wants to be clear for a couple of different motives. One, financially, and then one, because he doesn't want the Astros to screw up his own injury diagnosis. Kyle Tucker was probably in a lot of pain, and he knew it was going to be pretty long-term, and he didn't want to talk.